Good morning, chess friends. This is D-Reg from ChessHub, and I'll be your tour guide today. Thank you for joining us here at ChessHub, and remember to click that link on the bottom right to subscribe. Follow us on Twitch at ChessHub Live as well. Today's going to be the first game of a mini series on world champion Wilhelm Steinitz and three of his amazing games. As you know, Wilhelm Steinitz was a OG, an original, first champion that chess has ever had. So just a little bit about Steinitz. He was born in 1836 in what is now Prague. He was the youngest of a tailor's 13 sons. He learned to play at the age of 12, and he began playing serious tournament chess in his 20s after leaving Prague in 1857 to study math in Vienna. Steinitz improved rapidly during the late 1850s, and in 1861, he won the Vienna City Championship with an outrageous score of 30 out of 31 games, so something pretty ridiculous. During this period, he was actually dubbed the Austrian Morphy. In 1866, Steinitz was able to arrange a match with Anderson, who was regarded as the strongest player in the world since Paul Morphy had retired from competitive chess. Steinitz won the match 8-6 with zero draws, just a fantastic back and forth between the two. The next game was played in Hastings 1895 against Kurt von Bartelboom. This game was dubbed the Magical Rook game. Let's see what all the hype's about. So Steinitz opened up with e4, e5 by Kurt, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, and bishop c5. Without getting into too much detail in the opening, other moves here are going to be knight f6, knight g5, called the fried liver. And here the point is white is clamping down that f7 square, trying to get a quick victory here. And black is going to say no, d5. He's going to stop all that noise. And after d5, we have e takes d. And here, knight takes d5 actually runs into knight takes f7. So we're going to play knight a5 here. And this is all theory. Bishop b5, c6, d takes c6, b takes c6, bishop d3. Other moves as well are bishop e2, as well as queen f3 is another line. So things to consider if you want to play knight g5. We also have here the Hungarian defense. If you don't want to play either bishop c5 or knight f6, you can play bishop e7. Very solid move here, the Hungarian defense again. So back to bishop c5, as Kurt played, we have c3, and after c3, we have knight f6 by Kurt. Here we also have d3, which is the pianissimo. So this is the quiet game, and then we have d3, the very quiet game. That being said, d3 is all the rage these days. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at that, d3 is a way to play. So we have c3, and after c3, knight f6, d4, e takes d4, c takes, bishop b4 check, and knight c3. And after knight c3, you might be wondering, hey, is the pawn on e4 hanging? And yes, it is. Here after knight c3, um, yes, the pawn on e4 is hanging. It is actually better than uh, what Kurt played in the game. So this is the most critical move here. Knight takes e4. Kurt instead played d5 here. And after d5, we come into e takes d5. And here, even though the pawns are going to be isolated, they're going to become a pillar of strength, I would say. Um, White is going to have a lot of free pieces, and um, based on what happens next in the game, yeah, Black kind of gets sort of tied down. And here we have knight takes d5, putting again pressure on the knight on c3. And here we have uh, bishop. Here we have castles. I apologize. We have castles. And Black's problem here is that this rook is going to come to e1 and be pretty bothersome on this e file here. So Black needs to find a active way, basically a way to defend this file from sorry about the arrows. This file from being exploited. And what happens is bishop e6 looks like a normal move. It looks perfectly sound, but due to this move, Black is going to lose his right to castle, and we'll see that very shortly. A better move here would have been bishop takes c3, and after pawn takes, uh, he should have just castled and kept his king a bit safer there. With bishop e6, though, it does become a bit trickier here. So bishop e6. And the move is bishop g5. So bishop g5 is going to cause Black here, or Kurt here, a ton of headaches. The computer here suggests queen d7 as I was taking a look at it, but queen d7 actually runs into bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, rook e1 check, and king f8. And if we just pause here and just take stock of the position, um, let's just assess it for a moment, right? After this, kings, let's compare kings. White's king is a lot safer than Black's king. We have a rook that's controlling an open file. We have active pieces. And we have connection between our pieces as well. Whereas this knight maybe does not want to be here. It's a little bit misplaced. Uh, the rooks won't be connected anytime soon. This queen is in a decent square, but not really doing too much. And this bishop is it's all right, I would say, in doing some sort of function, but it's not the best bishop in the world. And this bishop is in an all right square. So, I mean, if we have to take stock, you could say that White just has an edge just visually, right? So, going back to the game, we're going back to bishop g5 here. And after bishop g5, not queen d7, but bishop e7. So Kurt says, hey, you know what? we are going to stop your threats here. Bishop e7. And Steinitz here realizes that there's a problem with Black's position, and it's that he cannot castle in time. So here, Steinitz plays bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, and knight takes d5. So mass exchanges on the d5 square. Queen takes d5, and bishop takes e7. Knight takes e7. And here we see again Black's problem. He cannot castle. And why? Because after rook e1, um, Black cannot castle due to the fact that the knight is hanging on e7. So after rook e1, again, we can pause here and just take stock of the position, right? This knight did not want to be on c6, and now it definitely does not want to be on e7, just due to the fact that all it's doing is defending the king. Um, White's plan here is probably going to be to put pressure along this file, as much pressure as he can until Black eventually cracks. And Black is going to try to defend basically this e7 square. It's just so weak right now. So here, after rook e1, Black has to come up with a plan, right? He can't castle, so that's out of the question. And then he has to find a way to activate his pieces. That being said, he comes up with f7 or f6. I apologize. He comes up with f6, and after f6, he's saying he's going to play king f7 and then rook e8, and he is fine, right? He's also saying king f7, queen d7, and he is fine. So after f6, we get queen e2. So now we have two pieces bearing down on the knight on e7. There's only one defender. So the only logical move here is going to be queen to d7. And after queen to d7, I think Kurt thought he was fine after king f7. But there's going to be a couple problems for him to solve before he can get the king to f7 and get a rook to e8. So here, after rook 8 to c1, White is getting his last piece into the action here. And this might have been Black's last chance to avoid the complications that are about to come up. The Here, let's see, Black played c6, but king f7 was probably his best bet here, and it would have held on to the material, and it would have probably drawn. The game is about level here. But after c6, which is also, it's a natural looking move, so you can't really fault him that much for playing this move. It stops anything from happening along the c file. Basically, that rook is biting on a rock on c6, and it's also stopping any action from happening on d5. So, I mean, you really can't fault Kurt for the move that he played. After c6, I would say stop the video here, pause it, think of what you would play, and then we'll be back. All right, so if you're done looking at the variations and you're ready to unpause, here Steinitz uncorked an amazing move here, d5. And if you notice, there are three pieces hitting the d5 square. Sorry, let's get rid of these arrows. So there are 3 pieces hitting the d5 square: the knight, the queen, and the pawn. Obviously, the knight cannot take due to the X-ray we have on the E file. If the queen takes, it's immediate mate on E7. So the only logical move that black has is C takes D5, right? Then here, Steinitz plays knight D4, bringing his knight into the action again. And I think, again, Kurt thought that he's getting away with everything and just playing King F7 as he did in the game. But it's not quite. It's not quite there. Here Steinitz plays an amazing move also, knight e6, and the point of knight e6 is twofold. He's attacking the g7 square. He's also attacking the c7 square. So this once this rook gets to c7, the game's most likely over. The rook on the seventh is a nightmare, and also again this knight that was on c6, now it's on e7, is a target for the rest of the game. So here after knight e6, Kurt said, well, I need to do something about this rook infiltrating on c7. So what he does is he challenges for the file. So now the rook is challenging the white rook for the file. And here, let's say after a move such as queen d6 instead. So let's go back. So knight e6. Let's say queen d6, right? Just to highlight the point of the rook c7 move. So rook c7, and then after something, let's say such as b6, knight g5 is the key move, and again, everything hitting on this knight on e7. So after rook hc8, we get the move queen g4, and again, the knight function was for the rook to come to c7, but also to target the g7 square, right? So here, black is just busted if he just allows queen takes g7. So he needs to stop it. He needs to prevent it at all costs. G6, and here again, I don't know what was going through Kurt's brain in the 1800s, but uh, I believe he missed what the points, a lot of key points in this position. After g6, if you'd like, pause the video, put yourself in Stein's shoes once again. What would you play here after g6? All right, and here we have a combination that Steinitz unleashes on his opponent. And it is going to be the move knight g5. Bam! And here, I think Kurt must have spilled his coffee. Here, I think he realizes, well, this is not a very fun situation. This is going downhill. Um, the point of knight g5 is now we have the king is in check, so the knight needs to be something needs to be done about this knight. The queen is hanging for black, so black has only one move, and that's to defend the queen. There's two threats, right? The check, and then the queen is hanging. So king e8, and then here an amazing move by Steinitz. Again, I believe Kurt missed this. And then here, Rook takes e7. And Rook takes e7 is just a brilliant move here again. After something such as, let's see here, after a move such as queen takes e7, and the point is that the rook that was challenging black for the file is now open to assault. And here, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, queen takes e8, just wins on the spot. And it's due to queen d8, queen e6, and after, I apologize, after queen d8, we just take the queen, simplify, knight f3, we're up a piece, and yeah, the game is over here. So he can't play queen takes e7, right? So here he is going to try a different move, not queen takes e7. Let's say he plays king takes e7, and after king takes e7, we get queen b4, king d8, king d8, and we get, let's see here, we get queen f8, queen e8, queen d6, queen d7, we get knight e6, king e8, and then mate on f8. Mate on f8. So instead here, instead Kurt played king to f8. And again, put yourself in Stein's shoes. What would you play here? What would you play here? So we're back, and beyond the threat of queen, the queen is hanging, right? You can take the queen with either one, but then you get mated here. So just for to show the example, queen takes d7, runs into mate into, right? Rook e1 and mate, and yeah, we don't want to fall into that after we've been playing so well, right? So again, to highlight, rook takes d7, runs into mate in 2, and it's checkmate. So here, after king f8, we have the brilliant move. This is the whole point of the game. It's the case of the magical rook. We get rook f7 check. And after king g8, again, if you want to pause the video and try to find the next move, do so now. And we'll give you a couple seconds here. And we are back, and here we have an amazing move from Steinitz again. It's just a brilliant move after brilliant move. We get Rook to G7. And after Rook G7, you might be asking yourself, who is actually playing this game? Is this Steinitz? Is this Copperfield? Who is it? We did say this is the magical rook game, right? We said the rook was magical. Again, the rook is untouchable due to the fact that this always exists, right? Rook takes, 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 and now we have an extra piece. So again, the rook is just untouchable at any point. Um, and then here, uh, Von said, okay, king h8. Let me just hide, run away. And, I'm always threatening this. What can we do? Rook takes h7 by Steinitz. And here, Mr. Kurt got up from his board, left the playing hall, and never came back to the game. I believe he was just in shock. It was an incredible display by Steinitz. And I just want to point out the whole point of why he never came back. So after rook h7, we get king g8, and then again the magical rook strikes again. It's onslaught, just in your face, nonstop, just keeps harassing you and just in your face all the time. Rook g7, king h8, but now there is no pawn on h7 to guard the king on h8, and we get queen h4, king takes g7, and all this is forced, so there's no way around it. King takes g7, queen h7, king f8, queen h8, king e7, queen g7 check, king e8, queen g8, king e7, queen f7, king d8, queen f8, and now this rook, again, the rook cutting off the king from escaping. Here we get queen d6, or I apologize, queen e8, knight f7, king d7, and a very beautiful mate on d6. That was a heck of a game. Stein's attacking play was brilliant in this one. And yeah, I mean, that this was the case of the magical rook. All right, and that'll do it for this first game. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more games in the Steinitz mini series. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll be back with more content for you guys, okay? Hasta luego.